So the comment says, there needs to be regular change in the routine to combat this. And I agree wholeheartedly. What are we talking about? We're talking about school shootings. We're talking about school shootings and what happens inside the school with teachers and students and administrators and how they react to, prepare for, and go through a routine to protect themselves from an active shooter within their school. And the reason why we're talking about this is because of a video that I did talking about how the people who are going in to shoot schools now were raised in an era of school shootings. So when you have somebody that's in their early or mid 20s that goes into a school to shoot it up now, they were raised with active shooter drills. So they were taught by the school system how to protect themselves from an active shooter, and now they know where to go and look and how to get around those things in order to be the most effective school shooter ever. We taught them how we're going to try and evade them. It's a weird thing. It's all inadvertent, right? You need to teach the kids to be safe, so forth and so on. And this person rightfully points out that if we now have a new crop of school shooters in the world that were raised knowing how people in schools are going to try and evade their actions, then we have a fucking problem, because what we've done up until this point in time is really not going to be effective, because the school shooters now know how to get around it all. This person says there needs to be a regular change in the routine in order to combat this. I agree, we need to constantly be changing things, but here's the thing, and here's the problem, here's the rub. We could change the routine of an active shooter drill today completely. Just do a 180 and change everything. And then we're going to teach that to the next crop of school shooters. Whoever's in school now, when those changes get made, if those changes get made, will then go out into the world, be a 20-something adult, and go, yeah, I'm a psycho. I'm going to go shoot up a school, and now I know the changes that they made, so now I can get around that. It's going to be a never-ending vicious cycle of we. It's essentially like saying, all right, here's the deal. I have a digital lock to get into my home. I'm going to change that code every month, but then I'm going to let the world know what that code is. That's what changing the routine would do. It would just teach the next batch of school shooters what to do. It would stop the current batch of school shooters, perhaps, throw them off guard. Well, that's not what we did when I went through active shooter drills, but it would just teach the next school shooter. So here's what I think we need to do. And when it comes to the safety and protection of our kids, I think we can agree that there is no dollar amount that we're not willing to spend. Right? So why don't we think proactively and long range, and instead of figuring out a way to hide and minimize the casualties once a shooter gets inside of a school, how about we work on ways to prevent them from ever getting inside the school? I mean, first of all, we should work on ways to prevent them from ever getting their hands on a gun. But because that's clearly not something that's going to happen in this country, we can at least prevent them from getting inside the schools. Blast-proof doors at every school. Bulletproof windows in every school. Directly link up every single classroom with the nearest police station with a press of a button from inside the classroom. In future village planning, make sure that the police station and the schools are built as close together as humanly possible, so that our response time is lower. And listen, I have, as a student, or as a parent of a 7th grade student, now an 8th grade student, he's wrapped up his 7th grade year, and as somebody who's put other kids through elementary school, I have no problems with cameras being in every fucking school that's directly linked to the police station. It's a public school. I got no problem with that. But why don't we work on keeping them out of the school? You have a damn good point, an excellent point. I'm not arguing with you. We should change up the routine right now in order to keep the school shooters that went through the active shooter drills guessing. But it doesn't solve the problem long term. It puts a Band-Aid on the situation right now. We need to be thinking about how to keep these people from even being able to enter a school. Let them walk around the outside of the school, shooting up the fucking school all day long, if that's what's ultimately going to happen. But as long as they can't get into the school and cause any damage, then I think that we're looking at a more proactive, long-term approach. And no, I don't mean let them walk around the school. My point being is that they can't get into the school and they're just walking around shooting windows trying to get into school. Eventually, they're going to go away because they're going to realize they can't get into that school, or they're going to still be outside shooting at the school when the cops arrive, and then they're going to fucking eat lead and die. Either way, let's stop them from getting into the school instead of teaching our kids how to avoid being killed once those people are in the school.